A lawyer for Donald Trump argued in a federal appeals court yesterday that Trump should be granted absolute immunity for any crimes he committed as president. But the three-judge panel that heard the case did not seem to buy it. Also, yet another Republican hearing on Hunter Biden descended into chaos when Hunter himself showed up. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. I know this is ancient history, but there was a time when Republicans used to pretend that their big problem with Barack Obama and the Democratic Party was so-called government overreach. They used to claim that they believed in limited government and that the Democrats were the ones acting like dictators.
I think we need to return to constitutional government. I think they shredded the Constitution.
This is like the whims of a dictatorship, where the elite leaders decide what parts of laws they like, what parts of laws they don't like, what they themselves will be subjected to.
Is it time the president just torch the Constitution?
I will give President Obama and the Senate Democrats credit. They believe in principles of big government. They believe in this relentless assault on our constitutional rights.
I feel very strongly about our Constitution. I'm proud of it. I love it. And I want to go through the Constitution. And that's what we want to do. I mean, we want to bring the Constitution back.
What do you mean, bring it back? Where did you think it was? On a gap year? We've got to bring the Constitution back. It's been in England for the semester. Hanging out with a Magna Carta, and if we let it stay any longer, it's going to do that irritating. It starts calling elevators lifts and apartments flats. Instead of we the people, it's going to say we the blokes. Also, we go back to look at what Ted Cruz looked like in that clip. I mean, wow. I know I've changed a lot in the past 8 years, but Ted Cruz looks like a completely different person. He used to actually look like a guy who went to Harvard and Princeton. Now he looks like a guy who flunked out of the University of Phoenix online. He's the only guy who looks like the beard grew him. All jokes aside, Ted Cruz's beard sucks, but it's still a million times better than anything I've ever grown on my face. Of course, everything is different now that I got my first tattoo yesterday, courtesy of Dua Lipa. Yesterday, tattoo. Tomorrow, beard. Friday, motorcycle. Next Monday, our new segment. What are you closer looking at, ass? I think that's how you do it, right? Oh, I can't wait to find out. Anyway, the point is, Republicans used to pretend they cared about the Constitution. Then the second Trump emerged, they abandoned all of that in favor of a president who routinely said stuff like this.
I have the absolute right to declare a national emergency.
I have an absolute right to call national security.
I do have an absolute right to pardon myself.
I have the ultimate authority. When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
The authority is
Total. It's total. Article 2 allows me to do whatever I want.
Then I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want.
First of all, that's definitely not what it says. The Founding Fathers used very sedate, dignified language, like the executive powers shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. Trump talks about presidential powers like they're Mountain Dew flavors. I have total authority, ultimate immunity, and most importantly, I have Wild Berry Blast. I have an Article 2 is such a New York way of saying it. He sounds like a New York City cabbie fighting over a fare in the middle of Fifth Avenue. Hey, I have my blinker on to pick him up. Well, I got an Article 2 that says I don't care. By the way, I'm not saying Democratic presidents have never overstepped their constitutional authority. They have. They're just not as audacious or overt about it. I mean, compare Trump saying he has ultimate authority to do whatever he wants to the current president, who doesn't even seem to think he has the authority to finish the sentence when the moderator cuts him off.
The Biden plan, which is Obamacare.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you.
It's a crime, and it's not one that, in fact...
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
...beyond the cost of inflation from this point on.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Just once, I'd love Trump to stop himself mid-sentence like that. The other day, a general came up to me, big guy, strong guy, tears running down. Never mind. That didn't happen. So it should be no surprise that the guy who during his presidency claimed he had ultimate authority is now arguing in court that he has absolute immunity from criminal prosecution.
The former president is claiming immunity, saying that he should not face charges for anything he may have done leading up to the January 6 attack on the Capitol because he was president.
The Trump legal team arguing the former president should have absolute immunity from prosecution because he was acting within his official presidential duties.
I feel that as a president, you have to have immunity. Very simple. So I think most people understand it, and we feel very confident that eventually, hopefully at this level, but eventually we win. A president has to have immunity. And the other thing is I did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong.
Who's we? Trump loves to drag everyone else into his mess. This is why it's still crazy that people are loyal to Trump, a guy whose entire philosophy can be summed up with only I can fix it, only we can it up. And when you think about it, I have immunity, so really only you can it up. Best of luck in jail. Also, I like that Trump throws in at the end, I did nothing wrong as an afterthought now. Even Trump can't bring himself to waste too much time arguing he's innocent. I have complete and total authority, almost like a king or an emperor. I can do whatever I want, no matter how illegal or immoral it may be. Also, I did nothing wrong. Now, Trump was actually present in the courtroom for this hearing yesterday, although he didn't testify, which is probably a good thing. Judging from his remarks after the hearing, his testimony would have made no sense whatsoever.
If you didn't have immunity, as an example, Joe Biden with the prosecutor, we're not going to give you $1 billion unless you get rid of the prosecutor that's after the company or his son or whoever it is they're after. But he wanted that prosecutor gone, and he's on tape saying it. Or you could say the horrible job he's done at the border where our country is being destroyed. President Obama with the drone strikes, which were very bad. They were mistakes, terrible mistakes. The investigation of the election, which was a rigged election, everybody knows it. And if you look at, they didn't use state legislatures, and they went to the FBI, and you look at FBI and Twitter, the Twitter files with the FBI, and the stuffing of the ballot boxes, all on tape. Stuffing of ballot boxes, all on tape. Government tape.
You know who I feel bad for? The court stenographer. If Trump's court appearances are anything like his public appearances, then trying to write down everything he says in real time must be literally impossible. 5 minutes into his testimony, the stenographer's typewriter would just burst into flames. I mean, can you imagine the judge having those remarks read aloud? Can the clerk read that back? Oh, I'd rather not. Please read it back. All right, Your Honor. The defendant said we did nothing wrong. I have an Article 2 that lets me do whatever I want, just like Obama and the drone strikes, and Biden and the prosecutor with the $1 billion, and you told him you're fired, and the box is stuffed with ballots, just like toilets are stuffed, because you can't flush them. You know what goes with a toilet? A sink and a shower, but we don't talk about that because windmills are causing bird cancer. Just look at the border birds flying over the border. Hunter, Hunter, Hunter. Where's Hunter? I did nothing wrong. I have immunity from prosecuted, just like I have immunity from COVID because I injected maple syrup into my lungs. Witch hunt. But the federal appeals court judges who heard Trump's immunity claims yesterday were clearly not buying it. At one point, a judge asked Trump's lawyer if presidential immunity would mean that a president could order SEAL Team 6 to murder a political rival, and Trump's lawyer actually said basically yes.
Could a president order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival? That's an official act in order to SEAL Team 6?
He would have to be and would speedily be, impeached and convicted before the criminal prosecution.
I asked you a yes or no question. Could a president who ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival who was not impeached, would he be subject to criminal prosecution?
If he were impeached and convicted first.
That's right. Donald Trump's lawyer actually stated in court that unless he's impeached and convicted by 2/3 of the Senate, a president cannot be criminally prosecuted for ordering the murder of a political opponent. And I'm sorry, but I just don't believe that Republicans in the Senate would vote to convict Trump even if Trump did murder someone. They would all issue solemn statements like this has been a difficult day for our country, but then a week later, Ted Cruz would be on Fox News saying stuff like, sure, Donald Trump killed someone, but what about Hunter Biden's pics? If looks can kill, then Hunter Biden is the real murderer. Also, for the love of God, don't give Trump any ideas. He's already promised to get revenge on his opponents and act like a dictator on day one if he wins. If he realizes he can order SEAL Team 6 to go after his enemies, then you could say goodbye to Democrats, journalists, talk show hosts, teleprompters, toilets, and birds. This is SEAL Team 6. We have eyes on the eagle. This is the president. You have the green light. Bring it back in a body bag, or better yet, a bucket. That's good, Eagle. Now, you might think a party that's supposedly interested in, quote, bringing the Constitution back might use its power in Congress to investigate a former president who claims he literally has the power to murder his political opponents. But instead, House Republicans held yet another pointless hearing today on Hunter Biden, who is notably not and has never been a public official or candidate for president. Hunter actually showed up to the hearing to confront Republicans and offer to testify, and predictably, it went completely off the rails.
My first question is, who bribed Hunter Biden to be here today? That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring a congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no balls to come up here and...
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
Mr. Chairman,
if the gentlelady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Green from Georgia for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently, you're afraid of my words.
Whoa!
It's especially rich to hear Republicans say Hunter Biden doesn't have balls when at a previous hearing, they showed a picture of his balls. Hunter has offered to testify in an open hearing in public with cameras, but Republicans have said they only want to interview him behind closed doors. And you might be wondering, why Hunter Biden won't just do the closed-door interview? Well, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has this theory.
Let me tell you why nobody wants to talk to y'all behind closed doors, because y'all lie.
There you go. Let us all hear directly from him rather than secondhand through nutbag members of Congress. So Hunter shows up, and instead of asking him all the questions they want to ask, they just shouted juvenile insults at him. And then when Marjorie Taylor Greene started to talk, he just walked out. I bet when that happened, everyone else was like, you can do that? When she talks, we can just leave? The split screen of Trump claiming absolute immunity and Republicans staging a circus over Hunter Biden captures perfectly the absurdity of what the party has become. They'd rather spend time hurling insults at someone who isn't even a public official than holding accountable a president who claims he has unlimited authority and immunity to do whatever he wants, even if it's a crime. I'd tell Republicans to stand up to Trump, but as we've all learned by now, they
have no balls.
This has been A Closer Look. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching A Closer Look. And as a reminder, my brother Josh and I have started a new podcast called Family Trips with the Myers Brothers. We hope you listen. We hope you like it. And see you soon.